so it's time for my mid-month book haul. I think the title of this video is pretty self-explanatory, so I will just jump straight into it, shall I? So the first book I have to show you I picked up in the UK record store FOP, which sells books for pretty cheap, so this was about £3, and this is The Wolves of Willoughby Chase, which is a children's book by Joanne Aitken and published by Vintage Classics. It's got a little purple spine because it's one of their children's books, and I've seen this on a few different booktubers channels, so when I saw it for so cheap I had to pick it up. But this is about two cousins who get a new governess who seems to be pretty evil. Very good concept for a children's story, very traditional, and she sends the two children away from their home, Willoughby Chase, and I believe there is maybe there's either wolves or werewolves that play in this. I then have Written on the Body by Jeanette Winterson. I've read a few Jeanette Winterson books recently, and one that a few people recommended in the comments of some of my other videos was Written on the Body as being their favourite. I actually don't know too much about the plot of this book, but Jeanette Winterson just writes very beautiful literary fiction. It's so gorgeous and quite often plays with LGBTQ plus themes, so I'm sure I will enjoy this as much as I enjoyed the others. The next is another John Burnside book. Love John Burnside, another author I discovered this year, and this is The Devil's Footprints, and I just think this paragraph, I couldn't sum this up better, so I'm just going to read it to you. Michael Gardner has lived in Coldhaven all his life but still feels like an outsider, a blow-in. When Moira Burney decides her abusive husband is the devil and then kills herself and her two young sons, a terrible chain of events begins. Michael's infatuation with Moira's teenage daughter takes him on a journey towards a defined fate, where he is forced to face his present and then finally his past. Sounds quite strikingly like the other John Burnsides I've read. Creepy, it deals with quite disturbing themes, obsessions and mysteries and kind of insanity, so I'm really excited to read another John Burnside. His books are very creepy and amazing. Now the next book I picked up purely on a whim. It came up as a recommended read to me and it just sounded like something I might like, so I decided to pick it up because it was very cheap and second-hand, although it's in really good condition. And this is The Emperor's Babe, a novel by Bernardine Evaristo, and this is about a woman in ancient Rome who is married to a rich fat Roman who she doesn't love and is pretty absent, and ends up having an affair with the Roman Emperor Septimus Severus, so I am quite excited to see what this one's all about. I think it's meant to be quite funny, so hopefully this one turns out to be a good discovery. Next is another book set in antiquity, but actually also written in antiquity, and that is The Four Comedies of Plautus, and this is published by Oxford World Classics. I have never read any Plautus in my life, but I've been really getting into my ancient comedy this year, reading a lot more Aristophanes and really enjoying it, and I thought it was about time I sorted out my not having read any Plautus, so picked up this collection of 4 of his comic plays. He is meant to be a massive influence on Western comedy and Shakespeare, so hopefully I will enjoy this and find it funny. I then have a book that again I bought because so many people have been talking about it on BookTube, and that is Alice Thompson's The Book Collector, and this is about a woman who is married to a man who turns out to not be the best husband after they are married, and he collects books whilst she wants to read books, and she becomes obsessed with a book of fairy tales he owns which he won't let her read, and he ends up committing her to an insane asylum because of her obsession. So this one sounds amazing. I've heard nothing but good things about it from the people that have read it, so hopefully this one lives up to the hype. I then have a collection of short stories which is How to Breathe Underwater by Julie Oringer, and I saw Mercedes talk about this on her channel. Now Mercedes is the expert lady when it comes to short story collections. If you're into short story collections or want to get into short story collections, I would definitely check out her videos, and when she was talking about short story collections this one just stuck in my mind, so I decided to pick it up. I believe this one deals more with realistic themes and in quite realistic settings about real life than a lot of the other short story collections I've read anyway, so I thought it would be fun to check out something new in that genre. I then have 3 books that were sent to me by Profile Press, 2 of which I requested and the last which was a surprise. So the one that I initially went out of my way to request was Unicorn, the poetry of Angela Carter, and this is a new collection of otherwise uncollected poems by Angela Carter, and I really enjoy Angela Carter's short stories. I've not read any of her novels yet, but do mean to, and just thought I would love to check out her poetry. So I'm hoping I enjoy this format of her work as much as I enjoy her short stories. I then have, which I'm sure you're not surprised to see, SPQR, A History of Ancient Rome by Mary Beard. This is Mary Beard's newest book. Mary Beard is one of my favourite human beings. She is a classic scholar but also quite the sort of public figure these days, and she quite often writes some good ancient history books for people that aren't specialists or classicists or ancient historians themselves, and kind of are quite readable. And this book basically just covers 1,000 years of Roman history, so a lot in here. I imagine this will be a book I more like maybe read a bit of, then put down, then come back and then read from cover to cover, but I love Mary Beard's writing. She's a really pretty fabulous woman, and I'm excited to have her new book. And then the book that I wasn't expecting is Under the Visible Life by Kim Eklund. And this is about two different mixed-race characters who have found a lot of struggles in their life and find those struggles eased by the discovery of music. And in this story, the two women meet in New York, and apparently their friendship changes their life. So this one sounds quite intriguing, and I have to say I really love this cover. It reminds me of Panton. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be back very soon. This is Vlogmas after all. So until tomorrow, happy reading. I'll see you soon. Bye.